Sometimes the most unique things can't be found in big cities, but in small towns that almost no one knows about. Places where the houses look different, people have unique traditions, and sometimes it feels like you've entered another world. It's like these are secrets hidden on the map. So where exactly can you find them? And in this video, we'll go through the top 20 strangest towns that you wouldn't believe actually exist. But before that, please like and subscribe. That really means a lot to us content creators. Thank you very much. So let's get started. Number 20, Coober, Pedy, Australia. In the middle of the hot and dry desert of South Australia, there's a unique town called Coober, Pedy. This is not like ordinary towns because most of the people here live underground. Instead of houses built above ground, what you'll see are homes carved directly into the earth and rock. The place's history started in February 1915. A young man named Willie Hutchison discovered opal while searching for water with his father. Because of this, many people from different places came to mine. Because of the large amount of opal found, Coober, Pedy became known as the opal capital of the world. However, living here was not easy. During summer, the heat reaches over 40 degrees Celsius, making it almost impossible to stay above ground. Because of this, people dug what they call dugouts, or houses underground. Underground, the temperature stays cool and comfortable all year round. But it's not just houses that can be found here, but also churches, hotels, stores, and other buildings that were also built underground. Number 19, Jerome, Arizona, United States of America. Jerome, Arizona is uniquely located. It is located at almost 1,500 meters above sea level, or over 5,000 feet. At this height, it's rare for towns to be built. This place was chosen for its rich copper mines. In the past, copper mining, as well as gold and silver, was the reason why Jerome prospered. It was because of mining. The population here grew rapidly. During the peak of mining, the population even reached more than 10,000. There were miners, businessmen, and families who found their livelihood here. But when the minerals ran out, the town began to decline. Many people left and moved to other places to find new jobs. Because of this, it was considered a ghost town. At present, it is estimated that more than 464 people still live in Jerome. It's no longer as lively as it used to be. But the town remains alive because of visitors who come to see the old buildings and memories of the past. Many houses and structures have also been preserved and serve as reminders of the town's former glory. Number 18, Roswell, New Mexico. Roswell is a small town in the southeastern part of New Mexico that became known for being unusual and mysterious. It began to develop in the 19th century, but it became famous because of an incident in 1947 when a strange object was found in a field. According to the military, it was just from a weather balloon, but many believed that it was an unidentified flying object that crashed. Since then, the story spread and became part of Roswell's identity. Because of this, Roswell became known as the Alien City. On the streets and buildings of the town, you can see decorations shaped like aliens and designs related to space. There is also a museum focused on exhibits about UFOs and the incident that happened here. Aside from topics about aliens, the town also has a colorful history and art. At the Roswell Museum, you can see items related to the rocket experiments of the scientist Robert Goddard in the 1930s. There is also the Anderson Museum of Contemporary Art, which showcases works by various artists and different kinds of artists. There is also the historic house of Pat Garrett, the sheriff who killed Billy the Kid, who became an important part of the area's history. Number 17, Kihnu Island, Estonia. In Estonia, there is a small island called Kihnu. Here, women serve as the pillars of the entire community. Many people think that such a system is impossible in modern times, but in Kihnu, this is normal and part of their everyday life. This practice started in the 19th century. The men often leave to fish and work in distant places at sea. Because of this, the women are left to continue all the work on the island. They are the ones who take care of the children, work in the fields, preserve their traditions, and ensure the survival of the community. Over time, women became central to almost every aspect of life on the island. They tend to crops, take care of animals, cook and weave cloth. They also lead special occasions, such as weddings and funerals. They use ancient songs and dances that are passed down from generation to generation. Some say that Kihnu has a matriarchal system, but according to the locals, it's more accurate to call it matrifocal. This means that even if they don't fully lead, they become the center and the most important part of society, especially the elder women who are respected as the keepers of tradition and culture. Number 16, Santa Cruz del Islote, Colombia. In the Caribbean Sea of Colombia, there is a small island called Santa Cruz del Islote. It's very small, only about 2.5 acres in size, but more than 600 people live here. Because of this, it is considered one of the most densely populated islands in the world. Meanwhile, in ancient times, this place was discovered by fishermen. They used to temporarily stay here while fishing. Eventually, they started building houses until they finally settled on the island. It gradually became a community. Now you can see narrow alleys and roads inside the island. Here, children play hide and seek, young people listen to music, and families live together. There's a church, a small school, a few stores, and an eatery that serves as a meeting place for the people. Because space becomes limited as the family grows, they just add another floor to their house so everyone can fit. It's surprising that the island consists of only a few families, with most people being related. The houses are passed down from one generation to the next because they have nowhere else to go. Even though life is crowded, there's still a unique sense of peace here. There's no crime because everyone knows each other and helps one another. In India, there is a small village called Shani, Shingnapur that is unique compared to other places. Here, almost all the houses and shops have no doors and no locks. The people there believe that Lord Shani is always watching over and protecting them. For them, if there is a thief, he will surely be punished by God. There is a legend about the origin of their belief. It is said that several hundred years ago, a large black stone floated in the river after a flood. There was a person who kicked it, and suddenly something like blood flowed from the stone. That night, Lord Shani appeared in a resident's dream and said that he himself was in that stone. He also requested that the stone remain on an altar with no roof and no door so that he could protect the entire village. Because of this, people started the tradition of not putting doors or locks on their homes. Until now, most of the houses and shops in Shani, Shingnapur remain open. If they want a little barrier, sometimes they just use a curtain or a simple wooden plank. Even though there are more and more modern buildings in the area, they still choose to keep their tradition. Every day, thousands of visitors go there to see the altar of Lord Shani. Number 14, Bannack, Montana, United States of America. Today it's a ghost town, but once it was the center of life and prosperity because of gold. In 1862, gold was discovered at Grasshopper Creek. Because of this, people flocked there from different places. In a short period of time, more than 3,000 people lived here. They built houses, stores, schools, and hotels. In 1864, Nakakpa became the temporary capital of Montana Territory, but it didn't last long. When the gold ran out, people gradually left as well. Over the years, the town was almost completely abandoned until it became a ghost town. Today, more than 50 old buildings can still be seen here, lined up along Main Street. These remain as proof of the history of the place. Because of this, it was made into a state park and designated as a National Historic Landmark to preserve it. There are also stories that spirits remain in the area. One of the most well-known is a young girl named Dorothy Dunn, who drowned in 1916. Many people say that she can still be seen at the old Hotel Mead wearing a blue dress, and some claim to hear a child's voice inside the building. Number 13, Nagoro, Japan. In a quiet valley in Japan, there is a small village that is different from all the rest. Its name is Nagoro. When you pass by here, it seems like you'll see a lot of people on the streets, in the yards, and in front of the houses. But when you get closer, you'll notice that they're not real people, but scarecrows dressed up like real residents. What's even more surprising is that there are more scarecrows than actual residents here. For every one person, there are 10 scarecrows standing. This started in 2002 when Tsukimi Ayano returned to their town after living in Osaka. She made a scarecrow to scare away the birds in the field. She modeled it after her father and even dressed it in old clothes. Because the scarecrow looked so much like a real person, passers-by often mistook it for one. That's when Ayano started making more, and not just for the fields. He made each one as a remembrance of the people who left or passed away from their village. 12. Mooresville, Alabama, United States of America. In Alabama, there is a small town called Mooresville. In the latest census, only about 53 people live here. Compared to the past, there were more before. It reached about 69. Over time, the number of people here gradually decreased. That's why it is now one of the smallest towns in America in terms of population. Even though only a few people live here, the place holds great significance. Mooresville was established in 1818, even before Alabama became an official state. Back then, it was known as a center for cotton farming. But when pests arrived and destroyed the crops, the livelihood here collapsed. Still, the town remained valuable and its people kept caring for it. The entire Mooresville is considered historical and is registered as part of the National Register of Historic Places. Almost all of the buildings have remained standing since the 19th century. One of the most well-known is the small post office built in 1840. This is Alabama's oldest post office still in use. There's also the brick church that was built in 1839, as well as the Stagecoach Inn and Tavern that served as a stopover for travelers back then. Number 11, Hoorn, Netherlands. In the Netherlands, there is a small town called Hoorn. It's not like the modern cities that are crowded with people and tall buildings. The town looks like it's straight out of an old story. The houses almost have the same design, simple yet charming. In some parts of the town, there are no direct roads. So many bridges were built to connect each place. You can also see canals here that seem to wrap around the whole town. Instead of vehicles, some people use small boats to cross and reach other parts. Because only a few people live here, the peace and quiet is more felt. In 2021, there were only about 3,730 residents. Many people say that Hoorn seems untouched by the changes of time. But instead of being a hindrance, this is what gave it a unique beauty and a reason to visit. In recent years, more tourists have come here to experience the simple yet charming environment. In addition, there is also a legend that has become part of the town's history. According to the story, there was no road going in or out of Hoorn. This isn't entirely true, but it has sparked even more interest among people. Many people visit here to find out what this place has and why it is described so differently. Number 10, Hallstatt, China. Hallstatt in China is a unique town located in Huizhou, Guangdong Province. Built in 2012 for a residential project, it's notable for being nearly identical to Hallstatt in Austria, a small town that is part of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization World Heritage Sites. The church, streets, plaza, and even the design of the entire place were copied. This project is part of what is called China's clone culture, where famous places from other countries are recreated. The Hallstatt of China was built to the same scale, including the artificial lake and buildings that are almost identical to the original. For some, this is funny and strange, but for others, it is a symbol of the Chinese people's ability to create an exact copy of a famous town. Many visitors come here to see the unique scenery and experience what it feels like to be there. Number 9, Setenil de las Bodegas, Spain. Setenil de las Bodegas is a small town in Andalusia, Spain, known for its houses and shops that are built under and against massive rocks. On streets like Calle Cuevas del Sol and Calle Cuevas de la Sombra, you'll see the unique view where the rock serves as the roof and walls of the homes. Because of this, the whole town looks like a natural cave and stands out from ordinary places. People have lived in Setenil even before the Romans arrived. During the time of the Moors, it became a strong fortress. It was called Septemni Hill, meaning 7 times nothing, because it was unsuccessfully conquered several times. The Christians only captured it in the year 1484. Even today, you can still see the remaining houses. This is part of the castle and tower, which are reminders of the historic battles here. Aside from its history, the way the houses in Setenil are built is also unique. The people took advantage of the rocks as natural roofs and protection against the heat during summer and the cold during winter. Because of this, life became more comfortable for the residents. The town is also known for its local products such as olives, almonds, and oil, although the wine industry declined in the 19th century. Number 8, Longyearbyen, Norway. Longyearbyen is a small town in Norway located in Svalbard near the North Pole. More than 1,000 people live here, and it is the northernmost town in the world with permanent residents. It was founded in 1906 as a mining town and was named after John Monroe Longyear. Today, it is known as a place for research, and the global seed vault can also be found here. Meanwhile, the climate in Longyearbyen is unique and extreme. For 3 months during winter, there is no sunlight, and this is called the polar night. On the other hand, during summer, it is bright for 3 months straight, and this is known as the midnight sun. This town has a unique rule. You can't give birth or die here. Due to permafrost, bodies don't decompose, so pregnant women and the terminally ill aren't allowed. Those who are seriously ill need to go to the mainland. Number 7, Skrúr, Iceland. In the northern part of Iceland, there is a small town around Skagafjörður that seems to have been left behind by the fast pace of time. Only about 1,000 people live here, so the place remains quiet and peaceful. Despite being small, it still serves as a center of service and culture for the neighboring communities. Here, you can feel the quiet way of life. There's none of the noise of big cities, and it's clear that people still value their traditions. The place is known for their care of the Icelandic horse, which is strong and unique throughout the country. Aside from this, their music and dance are also alive, showcasing a vibrant culture. The view around is breathtaking. You can see mountains, valleys, rivers, the sea, and waterfalls, whose beauty seems endless. There are hot springs and vast farmlands that attract many visitors. When you see these, you'll wonder why some people would choose to leave this kind of paradise. Number 6, Smurf Village, Spain. In the province of Malaga in Spain, there's a small town with a unique appearance. Its name is Juscar, but it's now better known as the Blue Village. This is not just an ordinary village because all the houses, the church, the town hall, and even the cemetery are painted blue. This started in 2011. The entire village was painted blue as part of the promotion for the movie The Smurfs. They used thousands of liters of paint to transform the entire place. People believed this was temporary and would revert to its original white after the show. But when tourists saw the unique appearance of the village, it suddenly became famous. Before, only a few people visited, but after it turned blue, the number of tourists increased dramatically. Because of this, the residents decided not to remove the color. In a vote, more people chose to just keep it blue. Number 5, Marfa, Texas. Marfa is a small town in the desert of West Texas. It sits between the Davis Mountains and Big Bend National Park at an elevation above 4,000 feet. Although it has a population of only about 1,700 people, It attracts tourists because of its unique history, art, and mysteries. The town began in the 1880s as a simple train stop and got its name from the character Marfa Strogoff in Jules Verne's novel Michael Strogoff. Meanwhile, in the 1970s, Marfa became known as a center of modern art. This was due to Donald Judd, a New York artist who moved here and founded the Chinati Foundation. This place was once a military camp that he turned into a museum for large artworks displayed right in the vastness of the desert. Since then, the town has become famous throughout the world of art and culture. Another well-known scenery here is Prada Marfa, a building that looks like a store but is not actually open for business, as it was created solely as an artwork. 4. Lilydale, New York State, United States of America. In New York State, there is a small town that is unique and shrouded in mystery. This is Lilydale, which is called the Woodstock of spiritualists. This place has over 160 houses, several hotels, guest houses, bookstores, cafes, and a small museum. Each summer, the town comes alive. Gatherings such as medium demonstrations, religious services, and workshops are held here. But the main reason why people come to Lilydale is to get a reading from the mediums. Every year, more than 20,000 visitors come here to experience something unique. Even though it's a small town, so many people are drawn here. How about you? Would you also be intrigued to see a place like this? Or would you rather stay in the environment you're used to? Scottsboro, Alabama, United States of America. In Alabama, you can also find the small town of Scottsboro. Despite its size, it's famous for its unique nickname, the lost luggage capital of the world. That's because here you'll find a store that contains luggage that was never claimed by its owners. These bags are bought unopened, and then their contents are opened and sold. This started in 1970. An insurance agent named Doyle Owens was the first to come up with this idea. He spent $300 to buy the unclaimed luggage and brought it home to Alabama. When he opened the contents and sold them, the items quickly sold out. That's where the business started, which eventually grew and made deals with various airlines for unclaimed baggage. Every day, around 7,000 items arrive at the store. Each one is cleaned and checked before being placed on the shelves. Here you can find all sorts of things like clothes, shoes, bags, jewelry, gadgets, sports equipment, and sometimes unusual items. The prices are lower than usual, often 20–80% off. Number 2, Alma, Arkansas, United States of America. In the 1980s, the people of Alma thought about how they could become more well-known. They wanted to have something that would show what made them different from other towns. Because of the large production of spinach here, they chose to make this vegetable their brand. That's because Alma is home to a large company that cans spinach, producing up to 60 million pounds every year. This means that more than half of the canned spinach in all of America comes from this town. Related to this, in 1991, they came up with a unique way to make their name stand out even more. They painted the water tower to make it look like a giant can of spinach. It's colored green and has a picture of Popeye, the famous character who loves spinach. They called it the world's largest spinach can, and it became a symbol of their identity. But it didn't end there. In the middle of the town, you can also see a statue of Popeye standing on a fountain in Popeye Park. It's also a reminder of their status as the center of spinach. Every April, the Spinach Festival is held. It features various games, parades, feasts, and even a spinach eating competition. There's also a unique spinach drop from the top of a fire truck that everyone really looks forward to. Dudleytown, Connecticut, United States of America. There's a strange place in Connecticut called Dudleytown. It's not a big town, but a small part of Cornwall that's now covered with thick trees. Because of the many scary stories, it's now known as the Dark Entry Forest. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary forest, but for many, it carries a name of curse and mystery. And in the early 18th century, the Dudley family arrived here. Among them were Negidian, Abiel, and Barzillai Dudley, followed by Martin Dudley. They tried to build a community, but it was not successful. The land was rocky, hard to farm, and yielded poor harvests. Because life was difficult, many people left and moved to other places where the land was more fertile. Dudley Town was gradually abandoned and eventually swallowed by the forest. This is where the legend of the so-called Dudley Curse began to spread. According to the story, it supposedly began in the 16th century in England, when Edmund Dudley was beheaded for treason. Since then, their family was said to be cursed and brought misfortune with them to America. This curse is said to be the reason behind the mysterious deaths, madness, and strange occurrences in Dudley Town.